But nobody watches the 5 hour. They watch all the clips.
Yeah.
That's really what it is.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm missing something. Be right back.
Yeah, I think there's a few rules, or not rules, but like, best practices, and I think somewhere in the 45 minutes.
Right.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Totally forgot about this.
What the crap is that?
Oh, yeah, we have to go out. Man, why the hell didn't I think of this? She told me about that. Oh, my God.
Everything happens for a reason. Welcome to the Entrepreneur Experience. My name is Coach Joe, co-host of this podcast, and
I'm sorry, I'm distracted by that fire drill. And I'm Jared Taylor with JT Visuals without the eye, because there's more than meets the eye with video content.
Yep, I do business coaching, and we have a phenomenal guest, Ashish with DoneDone. How are you doing, brother?
Good. How you guys doing?
Oh, I'm doing all right.
I'm
good. Doing all right. He's just straight to the point. Good. How you guys doing? That's awesome.
Excellent. I cannot complain.
Can't complain. So, first of all, we want to get into who you are, but I'll just have you do that. Is that cool? Ashish, who are you? What do you do? Kind of like, who is your daddy and what do you do, right?
Yeah.
So, go ahead, do that.
So you did the broad version of like a little bio, right, I guess?
Yeah.
Sure.
So it's long, but I'll just focus on mostly business and my business background. So I'm a co-founder of Menufy. It's a e-commerce online ordering solution. My co-founders and I started this in late 2008, and so we built it up. We actually sold in 2021. A good time to sell.
That was a great time to sell. I sold my business at that year too.
Yeah, it's it's a peak of the market on the private side, and then definitely the public markets. Like you'll see, now the market's recovered, but at that time it was an exceptional time. So, we sold it in 21. The parent company was PE backed, and then went and worked for the parent company, which is backed by private equity. Worked for them for about almost 3 years. And then I resigned in February. And then, what I did is I just started mentoring early stage startups. Started thinking, there was a lot of missing mentorship that we didn't have. And we learned kind of the school of hard knocks kind of style, where we made mistakes and then we learned from it and then we grew from it. Yeah. And it was a lot of like introspective learning, not really anything external. So, when I resigned, I decided I wanted to give back to the startup community. So I started to, just get a lot of startups in my orbit, and I just offered them free mentorship. So then recently, I've been on an app called acquired.com, just looking at businesses. Been on it for quite a while, to be honest, and came across an interesting little software called DoneDone. Oh. And just kind of got the itch to be an operator again, to be a sales officer again, to run a business in the software world, in the SMB world. That's where Menufy was. And so 2 weeks ago, we closed on the deal. And basically,
congratulations.
I now own another software company, which I'm not a co-founder of. But
did you ever think when you sold Menufy, I'm not going to do this again?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's you get 2 weeks where you think, oh, I'm just gonna vacation and do all this stuff, and
it's boring after a while, huh?
Oh, after 2 weeks, you think your brain's gonna go to mush, and then you start reading a bunch of business books, and then your wife's like, "What are you doing all day? Go get
go get a job, you bum, right?
Go do something else with your life. Stop organizing the garage. It's as clean as it can be." And so
you're gonna clean a clean garage, right? That's amazing.
Exactly. So I got bored, and then that's kind of where the mentorship came from. It's maybe I can scratch the itch with meddling in other people's businesses. But it wasn't the same. So one day, I started thinking, okay, I probably will be an operator of some kind again at some point,
Is that something you enjoy doing though? Because what I'm hearing, or basically how I could sum up what I just heard, is the spirit of the entrepreneur, right? It doesn't leave you just because you sell a business or walk away from one that you built. Yeah. It's like something built in you.
Yeah. So when we sold, we agreed that we would really start doing the things we wanted to do, and only the things we wanted to do and what gives you joy. Mm-hmm. And so when I resigned, I didn't fully know what that was. So I kind of went on a little bit of a discovery journey to make sure I understood what I wanted. And then, Yeah. And then, I did come to the conclusion that this is actually just fun for me. So I don't want to do things that I've gotten to the point where we worked our butts off. We were, by the way, a bootstrap startup. So it's not like we were handed millions of dollars.
Right.
We grew the thing from the ground up. And so there was a lot of sleeping on couches, eating ramen noodles, and not knowing how you're going to pay the bills, right?
You don't appreciate ramen noodles until that's like the only source of nutrition that you can afford to eat, right?
Yeah. So, and then eventually you hit a point where you're like, cardboard doesn't sound good.
Yeah. I want to make money now.
Yeah. And then that's the part where you're like, let's change something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's like a common, not for everybody, but like when you hear the stories of like ultra successful billionaires, multimillionaires, that is a very common thing that does happen, at least from the stories I've heard. Like going broke or starting off broke and then finally getting that break. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Could you walk us through that? Because I think that's an interesting story. Like you talked about sleeping on couches, maybe even floors, eating ramen noodles. Like it's not sexy when you start it.
No.
Right? Like if there's something that we can probably learn, it's not sexy. So can you walk us maybe through like, the Cliff Note version startup? It sucked, it did this. This is finally when we got our break. And what were lessons that you learned through that?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the main lessons we learned is the faster that we went full time, the more our productivity increased exponentially, beyond exponentially, actually, when we went full time. So I was our first full time employee in 2011, and lo and behold, that year our sales had like tripled because guess what? I was just focusing on sales. So then we had engineers and biz dev people, marketing folks starting to go full time in 2012, 2013, and honestly, it was retrospective. We look back and we're like, oh man, all of our numbers start to improve as we gave it full-time dedication. So I think that was one of the biggest lessons. But yeah, for years we were really slow and sluggish growth. Everybody had their full-time jobs, and this was like a part-time hustle. And I think we all kept a little chip on our shoulder for the years where we weren't in the public eye in any way. There's not a lot of marketing out there. People aren't going to restaurants where they see Menufy. And so the first 4 or 5 years, there was a lot of, are you still doing that? And it kept a nice big chip on my shoulder.
Yeah, like, let me show you.
Yeah. And it was part of the drive. So
those people are like, are you still doing that? Like, what are they saying now? If they still exist in your life?
I think they still do. And I don't think anyone met much resentment from it. I have a good group of friends, but they don't know what they don't know, right? They don't know the inner workings of it. And they do see us as co-founders sleeping on couches, sharing a house, like 6 people in a house at any given time,
So before you got married?
Way before me. Yeah, I couldn't get any of this done with children and a wife.
Your dreams start changing, don't they? Like,
yeah.
So my wife actually, we were dating, 2013 is when we started dating. So I was actually on the road. So speaking of the story is like, there was a point where we thought we were going to fail. Either like the engineers were basically tired of standing up the product, and the assessment became either we shut it down or we have to do something drastic for growth. And so basically we took all the money we had in the company account, put a lot of money on our credit cards, and I and 2 other co-founders packed up everything we owned into a U-Haul and moved to Dallas and basically sold full-time, boots on the ground, pulling door handles.
Okay.
And we had, in 6 months, we tripled the size of the company.
Wow.
Then so we packed up and we moved to Austin for 2 months, and then we packed up and we moved to Tampa,
so
Florida.
You just went to these big metro cities where there's a bunch of restaurants and then just went at it. Basically.
Yeah. So with back in the, it seems it's 10 years ago, right? Even at that time, it's like a lot of restaurants did not have. The restaurants are last to adopt technology. Unfortunately, that's the case. But we had no brand recognition. So when somebody calls you on the phone and asks you to give all your EIN and your bank account and your billing information, and we're going to be processing, 10% of your orders, you have to have a lot of brand recognition, trust. And the way to do that is by pulling door handles, shaking hands, and being in front of people.
Yeah.
So that was we were not getting the greatest success being on the phone. And our best success was now, we had a massive sales team on the phone.
Yeah.
But early days, the most effective way was to just go pull door handles.
To show yourself.
Yeah.
I think that was the culture back then too, because I started my entrepreneur experience in 2007, my first business, and it was very much. I remember it was still flip phones. We didn't have these big old iPhones or anything like that, and that's like not even 20 years ago.
Yeah,
right?
And so 07 is the iPhone. That's the
first one.
Yeah, the first
one.
Yeah,
and it was like I remember the it was the Razor. Like that was the biggest thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that was a culture still, like getting in front of people. Obviously it's changed today where everything is very virtual, very, but I could see that. As a matter of fact, I'm from San Diego, and that's a big restaurant, like boutique restaurant. And now that I'm looking back, I've heard of Menufy. I had a friend that sold point of sale systems and for restaurants, and he talked about Menufy a couple times in our BNI group. So I was like, "Oh my God, it's you! It's the guy that did
that's
it,
awesome.
This guy." So, wow,
we're the little e-commerce company nobody's heard of, but then every once in a while, someone like. So my license, I'm always selling, guys, but you'll see my license plate says Menufy, and every once in a while, I'll be at a grocery store, it's like, "Oh, I know Menufy," and it's a 1 in 100 ratio still, but it feels great.
I'm gonna call him right after. I was like, "Guess who I know?" Who's selling a bunch of his stuff. So, Doug, if you're listening, it's him. He started it. So
nice.
That's cool, man. Well, I like to always ask this question. I think you joined me in asking this question. Like, everything you know now, how can you define success now?
Success is probably doing the things you want to do and not the things you have to do, I think.
Can you expand on that?
Yeah, to be happy and focus on the things you want to do, right? And I know I want to preface this as I did not always have this. I just recently got this, the benefit of being able to do that and to not be in the race anymore and to be like, what do I really want to do? And that's why when I resigned, I did spend about 5 or 6 months just
trying to figure that out.
Explore that, yeah.
Okay.
Work out, read books, watch movies.
Annoy
of course,
your wife, clean your garage.
Yeah, spend a ton of time with the kids. I realize they need me, but they don't need me.
Like that,
They don't need me 100% of the time. There's no reason they need me around 100% of the time.
No, yeah,
so
for sure.
and then it's purpose. So, are you familiar with Maslow's hierarchy of needs?
Yeah.
Nope.
So.
Let's explain it.
Yeah. So I'll give you the abridged version, but the basics is like the food, water, shelter, and then it grows and it grows, and there's like agency, which means you control some components of your work life and your so you have control, and then it basically the top of the pyramid ends with so it's a purpose, right?
Yep. Okay.
So you have the food, the water, the shelter, you have happiness, you have friendship, you have all of these intangible things. And then at the very end, do you have purpose? And so, even when I resigned, actually, I kind of freaked out for a little while because I lost that purpose. Because a lot of what I was, your personal identity, you guys have your own businesses.
Well, it's wrapped up into your business. Like your purpose becomes wrapped up in your business.
Yeah, and people know you associated with your coaching or your film, your videography, and all these things that are tied into your personal life that tie into your business. And in a sense, it's your identity. And so I lost that for a brief moment, and it freaked me out. And I wondered if that was necessary, and I realized that purpose was necessary, like to beyond my kids and my wife, like other purpose to give,
So in order to be successful, there needs to be a purpose behind all of that, right? Like if you want to define success as X, Y, Z, it needs to be attached to an actual purpose.
I think it's me hitting all the components of the pyramid. And the last one is the more complicated one because there's people that like their jobs. There's people that are happy in general, that have lots of friends, that have food, water, shelter, and don't need a lot, but maybe are missing certain components. And which the last one ends up being because, let's say you work for a company because you guys work for yourselves, right? And so every day you're your drive, you're your purpose, right? Everything you put in, you get back. And so some folks love their job, they love their wives, they love their children, they like their house, they love the food that they're eating, ramen noodles or not. But
I add meat to the ramen noodles now.
That's you got to.
I just add a little.
Which, by the way, on the totem pole of ramen noodles, the Koreans they have got it figured out. The Korean
I
ramen
agree
noodles.
with you. I agree with you.
The ramen
They take it
show.
seriously. Anyway,
Let's go to Korea and do this podcast there with a bowl of ramen, right?
So the purpose element is one that a lot of folks that really like their jobs and all the other components of their life don't fully always have. And so like a different drive that in entrepreneurship, as you guys might relate, you really get that component because like what you kill, you eat. And there's there's a real fun element to that. And there's also like, there's some stress involved, but there's also like you control your destiny, right?
What's the fun of like hunting and killing it and eating it if it didn't give you a challenge?
Right, yeah.
Like, I think that men especially, right, are very wired that way.
Yeah, the purpose, the purpose component.
Like there's a pride part, which is fulfilling that is part of that purpose.
Yeah.
You know, like, Grant Cardone probably, right?
The name sounds familiar.
Well, yeah. I can't tell if you're being sarcastic. I don't know.
No, it does sound familiar, but I don't know.
Grant Cardone?
Yeah, dude.
Google Grant Cardone.
Yeah, dude, he's awesome. But he says, be obsessed or be average. And I think that goes along with what you're saying. It's like, dude, just find out what you love and get out there and turn it into something.
Yeah.
You know, and then because that has longevity. Yeah. There's a lot of people that do start up businesses. And I've been watching all these movies of like the autobiography kind of movies of, how businesses have started up or a show or something, and things. I love those.
Yeah.
But then they find out, most of the time it starts out and then people see right through them and they're like, hey, you're just in it to make a sale.
Yeah.
You're just in it to make some dollars.
Yeah.
Where's the true purpose even for the business, not just for you?
Right.
And then it's once they come up with a bigger vision that's bigger than themselves, they find their purpose in that, fulfilling that vision, and everyone else tends to jump on board after that because people nowadays too, they can see right through it. They can see the authenticity if it's real or not.
The word is because you know how we were just talking about the yoga. There's a yoga studio software company, and the funny thing is the co-founders of that love yoga, right? And I noticed that a lot of the hyper successful people have this story that is not like, I set out to start this business and then I did it and it was ultra successful. It was like they started with what they really liked. They loved,
they had to evolve it from there.
They liked it so much that it became successful, right? Like, I don't know, like Michael Jordan, for example, right? He liked basketball. It's not like he hated basketball. He liked it.
He loved it.
He loved it. So then he put a lot of energy and focus into it. And he was a really driven person. And in a sense, he became successful because of it.
And when he started, he was average. I mean,
from what I understand.
From what I understood.
Everyone here, that high school story.
Don't fact check me. I'm just saying what I learned is Michael Jordan wasn't the best in high school.
Yeah.
But dude, that movie Air is also something I'm like, if you haven't seen that one, that was pretty good too.
Yeah.
A lot of good entrepreneur movies and stuff.
Can I preface something really quick? Because you said something, a lot of people that are successful in their startups or whatever business, it's attached to something that they love doing. But that is definitely something that gets them through those hard moments because, and even if it's not what they love, but like they have a very strong purpose behind it.
Yeah.
Either whether it's to help somebody or to bring myself out of poverty or whatever that is. Yeah. Those hard moments are where the majority of people actually quit. I mean, the majority of businesses stop when things get hard, would stop when the co-founders get burnt out. They stop with, okay, I had 100 people tell me they're not going to fund this startup, and they stop talking to people, right? So the passion sometimes, I think, in my personal experience and what I've learned through coaching others, is sometimes the passion is defined even more during those hard times. Like it's a soul-searching moment.
Yeah.
It's like I'm hunting, I see the game, and I'm starving because I've been chasing this thing for 5 days without eating it. You know what I mean? Like
to mix our metaphors, I'd say like trial by fire, I think, right? Like it's so hard, but then
it's like a refining moment,
So that's where you were.
Yeah.
Where are you now?
So like I mentioned, I recently purchased a company that's a software company. It's a one-man shop right now. It's me. That's not fair.
It's a two-guy shop. I saw him over there.
Which is not fair. We
got to get him on this thing, dude.
Yeah. So I hired a marketing specialist, and he's awesome. It was a great hire. Somebody I've known for a little while, and I just knew that his expertise is in marketing, and it happened to be a perfect fit. So, again, I think now, by the way, now that I think about it, he has almost all the components of the hierarchy of needs because every day he comes in with a lot of purpose, and he's like, I get to own every decision in this marketing organization. And so that's the agency part.
Because it's just him. He's the marketing division.
Yeah, he'll throw an idea off me, and I'm like, go for it.
He's got some good energy, too.
Yeah, he's got great energy.
You could see his purpose on his face and how he interacts. Like, I love talking to that guy.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, yo, what's up? Like, there's energy that comes out of him. Like, he's excited,
So it is not a one-man shop. It is a two-man shop. So we, since I purchased the company, it was a few things that I really liked about it. Is like, one, it's a really clever software. Like, it does something unique. I know I can grow on it. I can hire a great team of engineers and really build on it. The reviews were really important to me. So the way we grew Menufy was we basically, and again, we didn't think this, while we were doing it, we just intuitively did what we thought was the right thing, which is talk to our customers, ask them what they wanted, and then we'd build stuff for them.
Around that,
Which is not like, it's not glamorous or anything. It's just like, hey, what do you want? And they're like, hey, I want delivery notifications. I want
this.
Third-party delivery apps. I want, during COVID, they're like, we want contactless delivery. We want curbside pickup. And we just, in weeks, we're just adding this stuff for our customers because they asked for it. So I looked at the customer reviews. I liked the previous co-founders, and that's one of the main reasons we decided to. So I have another investment partner, but the main reason I decided to buy that company is because the customers were happy and the co-founders focused on their customers. That's really all they did is they talked to customers and they built a really cool, useful tool for them. So it's not like it's a failed product. It's not like it's a startup that's speculative. They have happy customers that are paying. So I love to be able to expand on that and just, so one of the first things I did is I emailed all the customers and basically said, hey, and I didn't say I'm a co-founder, owner, or anything like that. I don't want to freak anybody out, but I basically was like, hey, look, I'm customer success. Here's my number. Give me a call if you want to talk about the product and the software and tell me what you hate about it. Tell me what you love about it, and I'll make it better for you. That's the pact, right?
Nice. Wow.
So, yeah. So that's
so how many people responded to that?
Just a few. It's all so. One of the things that existing co-founders, which I love these two guys, they're basically two engineers, they built a lot of automation. So the customer journey is very automated, and you don't have to interact with a lot of humans. I do want to change. I'm going to change that a little bit and give them the option to call in somebody at customer success or call in and talk to somebody at support to complain about something they don't like or tell us. So now we have a different feedback loop on the product where they're telling us more verbally. Now, so it's a lot of development teams like engineers, and there's a lot of marketing agencies that use this tool. So I think the reason that they're not responding is it's via email. So, in time, I'm going to just start reaching out and just calling them and just saying, hey, I'm with DoneDone. Tell me what you love about the company. Right. Tell me what you'd improve. So, and then I'm just going to go build it out. It's not that complicated in software. Build useful stuff. Make sure you focus on your customers and build.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
The majority of businesses in the United States can make a lot of money. But do you know why most fail? It's because of burnout. Now, entrepreneurship is an amazing avenue to build wealth and to build the dream that you want, only for the majority of them to fail. Don't let that be you. You might be watching this video and you just started a business. You might be thinking about starting a business, or you're well into 3 or 5 years into business and you're hitting that level of success and you're like, where do I go from here? What's the next step? Well, have you thought about a coach? Did you know that the majority of businesses that get coached have a higher success ratio? We just came up with online courses with over 80 videos for you to learn how to build your business. Click on the link below, get registered, only pay $100, and I'll gift you the rest of the 11 months for free. And you'll have access to everything that it comes with.
DoneDone is a project management software. The unique thing about DoneDone is it lets you interact with your customers on the same platform. So you can assign workflows to your customers and they can interact with the tool. So basically, if you're an agency that's that creates logos for people, you can have them sign their paperwork. You can have them approve the logo. You can have them issue corrections. And basically, you build that workflow for them and they interact with the tool just the same as an internal employee would. I think it's really useful. We focus a lot on marketing, digital design agencies, and dev shops, people that would just use any other project management software. But the ones that really find it the most beneficial are the ones that are interacting with customers. Yeah, if you're interested in trying out our software, there is a 14-day free trial. Go to DoneDone.com, click 14-day free trial, and give it a shot.
So if you're a busy entrepreneur and want to have great communication between your team and your clients, and you want things done, you got to get it done.
Are you wearing all the hats? Do you want to wear all the hats in your business? With JT Visuals, you don't have to wear all the hats.
Make better content. JT Visuals, without the eye. Because there's more than meets the eye with video content. Don't just be the best known.
It's fun. So I spent like a week on a LinkedIn banner to refine exactly the message for our customers. And I think we finally have it honed down to the right message, but we want to, it is really like think things through and make sure that whatever we decide is like very long-term. Right now there's the ideal customer profile is marketing agencies, digital agencies, and some software development teams. So I'm just trying to make sure that that's correct. And then I want to craft a lot of marketing and messaging and mission statements and stuff around that. And so I've just been extra cautious. Also, I don't know with Menufy, we grew it from day one, and I knew.
So you knew what it was.
I could demo it. I could do everything. I knew every single like tax rates and CSV, pulling out CSV
all
files,
Chinese
all
stuff,
all the little ins and outs of everything. I could do the demo. This product now I'm starting to get very comfortable with, but I just don't have the command of it as so I'm being super cautious on
Is there
developing.
already like a sales team?
No, there's no sales team. No,
Okay.
No.
Hey guys,
You're looking at it.
I actually looked this up too, and as someone that is in the creative space, I think it looks awesome.
Nice.
I want to see if there's a way to get it to fit in because like what I use is a CRM that's very powerful and I love it. It's called Go High Level, but it does lack in more of the like communication and maybe parts of the project management.
Yeah.
And so what I saw on yours looked a lot like I've used Basecamp, I've used Trello and some other things.
Use like HubSpot and
Well, it's a lot like Trello or Jira, but the interesting thing with Trello, like you cannot send it to your customer. You can't say, "Hey, here's a workflow I built for you. Like check all these boxes." And like with your guy, I think a little bit with coaching and with when you have customers, clients that don't fully know because you're emailing them and saying, "Hey, okay, now you did this, now do this."
So it's like a portal, like you could put stuff in there for your clients to see, and they can fix it and then bring it back and all that stuff. Like, is there like
well, so like the basic is like open, working, in progress, done.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Right.
And then done.
And then done.
Like Monday.com kind of?
Exactly like Monday.com.
Boom.
Yeah, but it's not going to be as robust in every feature set because it's built for SMB. It's built for small businesses, and and Monday's not going to let you interact with. It's not going to let you send that workflow to the customer.
Dude, I might have some clients that might want to do that 14-day trial.
Okay, yeah.
I have a CRM expert. He's a landscape maintenance guy in San Diego.
Which is funny because it does work. So I see a lot of landscape and contractors in there because they're sending the workflows to their. So with contractors, they're sending the workflows to the person that's doing the remodel or whatever because they have to sign paperwork, they have to put a deposit down, they have to do these various steps. So they're building those workflows and just sending it to the customer and saying, "Hey, do all these things." Yeah.
And I don't want to say
I have
anything.
another person I'm going to introduce. Okay, I'm going to talk about after this, man.
Nice.
Yeah.
I don't want to like sound bad against any other companies like the large ones, but is it a Slack killer as well? Like
So we integrate with Slack.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
I love Slack.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we integrate with Slack. So if you don't, so the messages will come via email, and then you can click a link within the email that goes to the tool. And if you want to use the Slack integration, you just get messages via Slack.
Yeah,
so
that's cool.
Wow, so you made it really easy for that. Because I feel like a challenge that a lot of business owners today have, especially those who are involved and they have technology, is there's so many different tools out there, but not one or two does everything somebody needs. So like I have Go High Level, and I think I use a couple more just for some small things, but what Go High Level lacks, I got to get in something else like Monday.com because I can send tasks on Go High Level, but it's not as robust as probably DoneDone. I have to check that out. And then Monday.com, which my team can interact with like how far along they are.
Yeah.
They can send me messages through it that I get, things like that.
And you might have some team members that you don't want to see all the stuff in Go High Level. And I know you can set permissions and stuff, but at least at the point, like, again, I love Go High Level, but like it doesn't really connect all the way to where it's easy for just another team member or for a client to like.
Yeah.
I don't even think you would ever want a client to access anything on
Yeah.
that. So that's what I love. I think there's something there in that niche, in that hole.
It's also priced for SMB. So that's one of the things is like we want to be a little more niche. So what happens in software is if you add too much function, so if you try to do too much for too many, you won't do anything for anyone. Right?
Yeah.
So like,
Come on.
Wow.
I say that all the time for like signs and graphics. It's like you try to say
it gets
too much,
too clumsy,
and you say
right? Yeah. So we want to
I do
really
public
find.
speaking. Like I have slides that say 3 words, and I emphasize on that.
Right.
It's not
Yeah.
for them to read a paragraph.
Yeah, because if you read in you lost the
Lost.
message, right?
Yeah.
But the interface is the same, right? So recently I had a customer, so I sent that email and somebody said, "Hey, can we do the statuses?" So they wanted to know who all was assigned to the ticket in the view, so in the list view. And so I said that's actually a good suggestion. Let me try to find a solution for that, but I cannot list every person that's on the project because when you list every person that's on the project, the list view becomes so muddled that it's not as clean and simple for the person that's just looking at the list view to see what tasks they have. Right. So
I'm sold.
Yeah, we always want to.
You want me to do the trial and I can give you my honest opinion?
Of course,
because I have
for
5
sure.
businesses.
Yeah, for sure.
And each business has a different CRM.
Yeah.
I have a service-based business that does House Call Pro, which I was the client that helped beta when they were just starting off. I knew the founders when they were sleeping in their office.
Nice.
And now they're like billionaires right now.
Were they eating the Korean ramen noodles or just the regular?
We were in the little square.
Because the Korean ones are more expensive, so like what the level is.
That's
when you were sitting on the floor, it was a square ramen noodles you had to put in the water.
Okay, yeah.
When you went to the couch, you went to Korean.
That's abject poverty.
So what level of ramen are you?
Yeah. When you've made it, but you haven't made it yet, like you're just paying the bills, then you get the Korean ramen, the circular ones. Yeah.
You know what I do now? Is I go to Costco and they have that box of like 6 noodles and it's like the tonkatsu, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, these are like $2.50 each.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about the
price. It used to be like 12 cents.
I could afford
the whole point of ramen was that it doesn't cost much.
I could afford that now, but it's so funny where it's like, and my relationship with McDonald's is crazy because I used to get McDonald's when there was like the 39-cent cheeseburgers.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of what we could afford at that point.
Yeah.
And like now I go to McDonald's just because I can and I'll buy the meal. And I think it's just a psychological thing. It's horrible for my health.
Oh, yeah.
The taste of McDonald's just brings me back somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's the most recognizable brand in the world.
It is.
Yeah, the
you know how they make their
right?
money?
What's that?
Do you know where McDonald's actually makes their money?
I mean, their best margins is probably going to be on their soda. If we're talking items.
No, not items. Like where
they buy the real
McDonald's
estate.
actually, they own the property.
Yeah.
And the franchisee has to pay them rent on that property.
That's the founder, another good entrepreneur move.
Yeah. They used to not always do that. And they figured that out. Yeah. It was not always the playbook. They would rent, periodically.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now they buy the property, and now you're the landlord. And
And they said that they make most of their money off of the rent, basically.
Yeah. Dude, okay, I have an idea. Can I share it or ask this on the podcast, or should I?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's for, maybe you already do it. I don't know, but something I've seen that I wish that like Monday.com or someone would do is like just a display version. Like maybe it's some web address that you can just tune a TV to or something, and it has like a big board of things that are just always staring at you of like active projects, like some sort of dashboard that's like viewable on a big TV that you don't need a computer to hook up to. And you can like,
I got my TV in my office. I can just keep looking at it.
Because I've always gone back and forth. I'm like, I love that like I have a second monitor just to kind of display where tasks are, but then it's always overridden. And it's like, that would be cool for something for a whole team, like on a big TV without a computer.
Techie does that.
There's a bunch of gamification platforms that do versions of that. It's a lot for sales teams that I know. So it's like leaderboards and things like that. But I think, so even those are application based or browser based. So you have to pull the browser up.
Yeah.
But you can't have it on a channel. You could maybe do the USB or like the HDMI, but I'm not a hardware guy at all. I'm barely a software guy.
I'll probably have my iPad next to me with just the CRM system.
Yeah.
Because like I hate having to go from one CRM to the other, and I'm always dropping tasks or forgetting to give the right projects to the right person with the right CRM.
Yeah.
So if DoneDone works, like I'm seeing, like you can you like separate it per business, like have task lists for that, or do I have to have like 5 different logins?
You can have one login,
or I can make each customer my business.
There's several ways to do it. I'd have to understand the business first.
This is fun, guys.
Rule number one of sales: make sure you do your discovery.
So
right?
in one year,
don't sell anything until you understand the business.
1 or 2 years, when that feature's probably there, it's because this conversation.
Like, you're welcome in advance.
Can I be a founder for the new DoneDone? That's awesome. That's amazing. Okay, so our audience, we have startups, people even thinking about business, not even knowing if they want to do it or not. I mean, we've had a missionary on here that just kind of treated what he did as a business. We have people that have been in business, maybe even people looking to sell. What is like a couple of some good golden nuggets as an experienced entrepreneur, you know, that started something from the bottom, became super wealthy. Now you are investing in things. Like, what is something, like, if you can give them a piece of advice?
Interesting.
That's universal to everybody at the moment.
I think so. One thing I think of, like, and I think it applies, is I teach it to managers a lot, because in these operator roles, so there's a couple, by the way, but yeah. So as a manager or an operator of a business, I think you cannot fake it. That's my, like, people they get by, but your business shows that. Right,
Yeah.
that it's not.
Mirror,
You can see that it's not properly ran, and you can tell that the owners are checked out, or they're there for the dime, but it's not a long-term thing. So I teach managers this too, like managers that want to be a manager or entrepreneurs that want to be an entrepreneur, is you shouldn't and you can't fake it. You need to genuinely care about your customers. If you want to compete, you need to genuinely care about your customers. If you want to compete, you need to genuinely care about the quality of your restaurant, your software, the product that you're putting out, whatever, those things really, really matter. And I notice that a lot of businesses that are around for a couple of years and then they go under is because of that element. It's like
they're trying to get rich on an idea, but it's not because they have a passion for what they do.
Yeah, it's rarely like we say at Menufy, we say, like, we were the overnight 13-year success.
Yeah.
It took forever.
Totally relatable.
Right?
Totally relatable.
Yeah, it takes forever, right? So
it does. But the thing is, people don't see that gap. They just see Ashish, Joe, Jared, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, you guys made it. It's always been like that. It must be nice, right? Like there's a lot of that even if they don't say it to me to my face like that, like you understand based off of the sarcasm that's kind of where their mindset is about. Us.
Yeah. And a lot of people they don't understand that. Well, it's not for everybody, and I'm not like on my high horse talking down. I'm just saying, like, it's in that case, maybe that's not the job for you.
Yeah.
Maybe you are passionate about business, but you chose the wrong thing because you're not passionate about that one thing,
Right.
Like, I mean, it's better to care about it, and if you do care about it, you're going to be a lot more successful, I think. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
because there's that purpose again.
Yeah, I think it comes down to that.
Yeah.
No, it's like when you're faking it, it's very obvious. Yeah. So, and then I think another piece is, like, I'll notice a lot of, and it's not, by the way, easy to do, but a lot of business owners, especially small business owners, they're spending time operating the business, but not like they're spending time like in the business, not on the business.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah. And so, like, you have to find that time to separate and spend some time to work on the business, not just within it. So, your driver, like, I always do restaurant analogies, by the way. Your driver didn't show up. Yeah, your driver, I get it. That's been a rough patch. But until you can scale, you're not going to be able to scale your operation until you can get in somebody that's reliable, and then you have time to focus on your marketing. You have time to focus on your brand. Like, I'll go to restaurants and I'll see the logo on the menu, the logo on the sign, and the logo on the website. If there's only one website, by the way, sometimes there's like 2 or 3. They're all different. And, like, they didn't spend time to consolidate and unify it because they don't see the value in that. So, like, spend time to read the books on marketing. Spend the time to read the books on restaurant operations. If you're in a restaurant operator role, you might not know everything on day one. You might have a passion for food, but you have to learn the other side, or your business is not going to be, it might be successful, but it might be infinitely more successful if you spend some time to learn the other side of the business.
Yeah.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, we got a couple minutes left. Is there anything else that you would love to add to anything on this podcast?
No, I talk so much, guys. I appreciate the opportunity.
It's been awesome.
Yeah.
Like,
no, it's
has been.
it's been, by the way, it's been nice hearing about your businesses as well. And I kind of joke to the guys, like, can I ask you guys questions? And so,
All right, ask us one question each. How about that?
Okay, yeah, I can do that. Okay, what gets you?
Shoot,
Oh,
maybe.
He's gonna go so deep.
Crap.
oh no, like so.
Start with him.
I'll go.
Yeah, all right. No. So like, what gets you up in the morning? I think, and what is your purpose? And it doesn't always have to be business, but in relation to business, like what
My
gets you
kids usually get me up.
Unwilling. Oh, you have the same problem I had.
Yeah.
Jumping on you.
It's like, man, I don't get to be in control when I wake up.
Yeah.
I just
Unless I
wake up and they're already
earlier.
in the bed. That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm like, how did you get in here? You know, like,
Yeah.
I always get excited to go and talk to people.
mm.
Yeah, like I've discovered, like it's weird. I'm a creative, you know, and I love production. I love gear.
Yeah.
Sometimes cameras, like I have a gear lust, you
Yeah.
know, and I'm like, oh, I want this camera, but then I discipline myself.
Sounds like my marketing guy.
Is it? Yeah,
Yeah.
we're probably
He
very
brought in
similar.
that tripod. I couldn't even use it.
But it's a good
Did you
tripod.
pay for it?
What's that?
Did you pay for it?
No.
Okay.
That is
He's
a
just like, I
good-
just want to bring. I know he said it was a really
Yeah,
good tripod.
that's a
I
good
believed
one.
him. I
Yeah,
believed him. It's carbon
Manfrotto,
fiber.
I think. So, anyways, yeah, and then when I actually in a session with clients and stuff, I love seeing like hearing their stories and pulling that out, and then they're like, "Whoa, what?"
Yeah.
You know, and so I remind
Mhm.
myself of that, and like I'm starting to build a collection of like this is why,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and it like just because I get thank you notes from people too, and I'm like,
Nice.
dude, this is awesome, and
Yep.
it's usually some deeper meaning than just doing some sort of transaction.
Sounds
Yeah.
like you have a sales, like you're a sales guy at heart too. Like it's a powerful.
I will vouch for that.
Yeah, it's a
You know how
powerful
many sales
tool
he did
to-
in 1 week? That's a record.
Yeah, nice.
I did 4
Nice.
like monthly.
And that's
yeah.
like
And his
Yeah, that's
price range
which
is not low,
actually is or like in celebration on the podcast, guys. You've been following my journey. It's 3x now
hell yeah.
from where I was.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I can casually
So-
swear on this podcast, right?
Yeah,
Sure.
Okay, good.
Start
Yeah.
doing it now.
Again, I'm a
So-
sales guy, so I'm just gonna casually swear.
Yeah.
I've done well. It's been like 40 minutes. I've done pretty good.
Yeah. We didn't tell him he couldn't because you just chose not to.
All right, so same question. What drives you?
What drives me? Okay. So what drives me is the fact that what I do actually creates a change in our economy. I was a poor business owner. I failed 8 businesses before I became successful. I started getting help. I got a coach.
Mhm.
But I seen the journey of what it is to sleep on a couch. I mean, my wife and I don't know why she didn't divorce me, but we were living in somebody's garage that flooded every time it rained.
Yeah.
Mm.
It was a brand new baby.
Mhm.
And I just felt the lowest of my life. And I was failing after fail. Well, what perceived, I was just too hard-headed to quit.
Mhm.
And I did not like being employed by somebody else. So that journey and then finally finding success and getting those investments returned so I can create a lifestyle for my family created a passion in me to be able to go out and actually help entrepreneurs do it because statistically, most businesses are going to fail.
Mhm.
Like literally in 10 years, like 80 or 90% of startups that started within those 10 years will no longer exist.
Yeah.
And that broke my heart because like that could have been me if I didn't give that one more extra measure of push and if I finally didn't get coaching. So my desire, my passion is knowing that I'm actually changing not just the life of the entrepreneur, but everybody, including his family that he affects, the employees, all that stuff. That gets me so fired up. I don't want to take vacations with my clients.
Yeah.
Literally, like be like, this is a lifestyle, guys, a true lifestyle. Let's go together.
Yeah.
Shut your laptop, shut your phone down. This is how you enjoy life.
Yeah.
And that gets me fired up. Like
Nice.
my client today cried. Oh, and I'm not saying this to brag, but like I got into tears. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm actually changing a life right now. So
That feels.
Well, I'm
It
one of
does.
his
Good for you,
clients too, and
Yeah.
like just I called him just to scream on the phone because I had that like
Sounds like you're a
sales high.
counselor.
You know the sales high?
Oh
Like,
yeah,
that was my first
Dude.
like because it was like ×2, and I'm like I don't know what to do with this energy,
Yeah.
and someone's
and then he
like,
texted me again. I got another one.
yeah,
got
and I was like,
another
what
one.
would be
I'm like,
crazy if I could do 3?
Yeah.
and I did it, and
Keep
then
That's
So-
actually one of the best characteristics of a salesperson is like if that adrenaline rush gets you to do another one, so the dopamine hit is
Like, I want more. I want
yeah,
more.
you
I
want
want
I
more.
still got it
Okay.
a little bit. It's
Oh,
been a
good.
week.
Hell yeah, keep going. Pound the
Yeah.
phones, man. That's how
Yeah.
it works. I mean,
They're
do
warm
whatever your
leads
sales.
too,
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
That
Which
was where you could have inserted a cuss word. You know that, right?
Yeah.
You could have done that right
I'll try to keep it clean. But what you said reminds me of something that I listened to. I was listening to a podcast, and one of the reoccurring themes, and this happened with Menufy too, is endurance is actually a really big component of success.
Yep.
Like, and you said like too stubborn to quit or whatever. We were too dumb to quit.
Yeah.
Like we didn't, like even when we were thinking about shutting down, like we were too stupid to do that. We spent all our money to go to some other city and just go plow some sales. And endurance is the key in a lot of these, especially if you're not taking funding.
But you don't regret that.
I don't know.
Like now that you've sold it, I mean,
I broke down one day and I was like, man, what, like, is this working? What am I doing? And someone asked me, like, are you going to get a job for a little bit for consistency and all this? And I'm like, dude, the energy it takes and the effort to go and apply and chase after a job, why don't I just get another client?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of part of where my mindset went. Because like I can't give this up.
Spend that on yourself.
I can't work for someone else. Like I've tried.
I don't know if I can anymore.
I feel like as an entrepreneur, especially if you've been doing this for a while, just accept the fact that you're unemployable. Just if you can just accept that fact, you are unemployable. So, my mentor told me this, Joe, there can't be a plan B. Plan A is to make it successful. Plan B, if anything, should be revert back to plan A.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna do it, just freaking do it and do it as long as it takes to become successful. Because if endurance is that factor to finally get success, you'll learn what's not working, you'll adjust, and you'll endure. What the reward will be, like, will be worth all that.
Yeah.
Now, Robert Kiyosaki wrote his book. He was living in his car and he put all of his money in a stock that he finally studied. I think.
Is that Rich Dad Poor Dad?
Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's probably Korean ramen.
No. He's Dubai ramen.
Oh, is he?
That's
with some gold in there and everything like that.
Yeah, it's not oil money. That's different.
Well, with that being said, I want to respect your time, be on time and everything.
Appreciate it.
And so thank you so much for being on this podcast. I would say, guys, let them know, but like it's not live.
Well, put in the comments below if you have any questions. We'll ask them for you. We'll probably jump on a live and let you guys know. But if you were encouraged by this story, by Ashish and us together talking, if you're an entrepreneur, you're going through some things, use that comment if you're on YouTube or reach out to us and just, dude, we want this to not just be a place where you hear a story, but we are still at a point where we can respond to comments and get you some resources if you actually do need help. I think entrepreneurs have a genuine interest in helping other entrepreneurs because we lived on couches, we ate ramen. So if you're there, I'm more than happy to respond to some comments, even if it helps you get from a couch to a dorm room. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Go from regular ramen to Korean ramen, right?
The Chinese ramen to Korean ramen. That's a big step. But it's
a huge step. It's a huge step. Like and subscribe if you're on YouTube. Share this podcast to all of your friends out there. We'd really appreciate more downloads and more views and more subscribers and followers. And just remember, if you are that busy and you need a CRM system to get things done, not just done. Go to DoneDone.com.
We'll have a link.
Days free. We'll have a link.
Yep. We'll have a link in the description.
Awesome. So, thanks everybody. Hustle hard.
All right.
There you go.
Stay strong.
And keep on keeping on.
Boom.